I call ours a 3-5. You can call it a 3-3. We just don't lock our box. We're not always in this traditional 3-3 stack look, and our linebackers kind of move together. So I call it a 3-5, but it's a 3-3 stack at its base. We get D linemen that have two-way goes, and we move them a lot. We move D linemen. As a former offensive lineman, when you do not know what the D lineman is going to do at the snap, it makes it a lot tougher. When they're head up and then go left or right and go all over the place, makes things a lot tougher. If I'm a big guy and I know where that 5 tech's going to be, I know where that 3 tech's going to be, I'll down block, I'll drive them all day, right? But if I got to be slow off the ball because he's moving one way or another, I have a whole nother set of issues. So our cover 3 allows us to load the box. We get more athletes on the field. You're going to see we only install 2 fronts, but we give, with our movements, with those fronts and the way our linebackers align, we give tons of different looks to the offense with being very simple on defense. And then we give our big guys to the offensive line. Makes them better. Okay. Here's our base look. It is a 2x2 set. We're in a 3-3 stack. Pretty simple. But within this look, based on which way our nose goes, right, and what other stunts we put on between our 2 fronts and bumping our linebackers, we get 36 different looks we show the offense in our base. And our guys only know that as 2. We have 2 fronts, and then we have a couple of stunts in here, a couple stunts, couple blitzes. Right? Real basic stuff. We get all of these looks in within about 2 weeks and over the summer. Like, very simple stuff. Basic look. Nose can go 1 of 3 directions. He can 2 gap. We don't do it very often. He's usually moving one way or the other. We can pinch. We can move the D line, and we can send a backer with it. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Move them the other way. Okay. Here's our tight look. No bump. We're in our traditional stack. Once again, we get our nose movements. Okay. We can move the D line with a blitz or without a blitz, either way. We can go out with the D line and then send blitzes or not send blitzes. Okay. But here's what a slant would look like. We moved, bring the blitz. We're in a completely different look than we were pre-snap. Okay, now we're bumped, right? And I'll go over our bump rules, but here's our Will, here's our Mike, here's our Sam. So our linebackers are bumped. Here's our outside backer. This is trips over here. This is a completely different look, though, right? No matter what run you're going to or call here, we are now in a different look, blocking wise, for the offensive line. But all we did was just move over a little because we needed to respace the field. Nose can go either way. We can pinch. We can bring an outside backer, move the D line. We can rotate the coverage, roll down the free. There's a lot of different things we can do here. Very, very simple. Right? But you can see we get D line movement right off the bat, and we're in completely different spots than we were at the snap. Give some really, really bad angles for the O-line. Tight look, bumped, same thing. Go either way. We can rotate, slant the D line, send a backer, go the other way. We can go out. Lots of different looks we can give. But on the snap of the ball, there's lots of confusion based on what we do. Once again, I prefer loading the box out of cover 3. It's what I'm comfortable doing. I found that where I've been, and I've been to a few different places coaching, it's easier to find the outside linebacker that can cover than it is to find the safety that can roll down and fit in the run. That's just what I found. That doesn't mean that that's the case for everybody. That's what I found, and that's what I'm comfortable with and comfortable with teaching, and we seem to pick that up well. We can check the looks to get more players in the box, and our Ripless match rules allow us to cover vertical routes when we're loading the box as well. Our positions, we have an end, a nose, and a tackle. So our ends are stronger field side D lineman, nose guard, tackle's the weak side. Sam, a Mike, and a Will are stack backers. Bandit is to the field outside backer, Rover to the boundary outside backer. We have a field corner, a boundary corner, and a free safety. Base D and run fit install. Our entire mindset is that the way we're going to play stuff is we're going to get +1 to the ball. We want an extra person to the ball that you cannot block. If we do that, we're in really good shape. If for some reason, right, if for some reason we don't get that, we need to beat a block somewhere, we're going to try to make sure that that's a skill player blocking us, not a lineman. How do we do that? There's some scheme stuff that we're able to do with spilling and the way we move our D line to make sure that we're beating a skill player, not an O lineman, if we need to. Now, how do we teach this stuff? Pre-snap. Everyone has a gap pre-snap, right? So all our gaps will always be covered pre-snap. However, that doesn't really mean a lot because once the ball is snapped, we're all going where our key takes us. Whether you're a D lineman, whether you're inside, outside back, or whatever, free safety inserting on the run, your read is going to tell you what to do. Don't worry about your gap. Worry about what your read is telling you and what the play or what play is going on, right? We spill everything. Spill everything in our base rule. There's one exception. I'm going to show you that. It's in our film clips. Spill everything. Why? Why do we spill everything? We're smaller. If I'm smaller, right, I want the lineman to stop their feet when I'm wrong arming. I want the back to stop his feet and have to bounce. And I want to be able to run over the top of stuff, right? I don't want to have to fill with somebody that's bigger than me running full speed. I want to run to the sideline with somebody that I'm faster with, right? That goes to being undersized. D-line, you're responsible for running back on option. Why? D-line can take the running back completely away and force the ball to get to the perimeter where, once again, we should be faster than you, right? We should be. We're smaller and slower. That's not a good recipe in football, right? So we should be faster than you. So we want to make sure we take care of the inside run game first. The number one thing we ask our players is, what did your read do? We don't want to know, oh, what play happened was this. Just tell me what your read did. Did your read down block? Did your read reach? Right? Did your read pass block? Did your read run to the flat? What did your read do? Simplify the language, because if they can't tell you what the read did, we have other problems. Either their eyes were bad, they just don't understand, right? I don't need them to know what, power is, what counter is. I need to know, if my guy goes one way, this is what I do, right? Especially when we're teaching young guys. When they get older, they'll understand that. But what did your read do? Linebackers and DBs align to skill players. So we align to formation with these guys. Our D-line does not have to adjust unless we get like an unbalanced front. We have a clip of that in there too. Right? What do we see? Here's how I break everything down and how we stop this. We are going to categorize everything into one of these. Now, option is not on here. We don't see a ton of it. I'm talking more true triple flex bone stuff. We'll see some RPO and some triple out of the gun, which usually goes into zone, but this is how we categorize stuff. To me, ISO schemes are the biggest threat to our defense. And we spend a lot of time studying them and figuring out how to stop them appropriately. I'm going to show you the clip. The G folding and then the wing folding, some teams call power. I don't care what the offense calls it. I care what it means to our kids and how we have to defend it. So to me, we have to defend it like ISO, so I'm calling it ISO. Gap schemes anytime we pull, right? Power, counter, whatever you want to call the stuff, it's a gap scheme. Put them all together. We're going to stop them all the same way in our base. Zone schemes, either inside zone, mid zone, or outside zone. We try to separate an outside zone with a cutback. We will lump that into the zone. That's different to us than like a sweep or a jet sweep play, depending on the offense and how your offense might call it where you're at. Sometimes they say outside zone is like the reach and run plays, but we try to determine, are they trying to cut it back or are they trying to hit the perimeter? We will lump any pin, pull, buck, sweep into the same category. If we see more than one offensive lineman pulling, like two guards pulling to the perimeter, we'll call it buck. It could be pin, pull schemes, but we just lump it into buck. And then sweep plays, your jet, your rocket, all that good stuff.